The alien fleet arrived without warning. Millions of tons of metal, weapons crackling, shields glowing, a display meant to inspire terror across the entire planet. Their message was simple and clear. Surrender or be annihilated. Humanity's response? A single probe, no bigger than a car, that zipped past the alien shields at impossible speed. It left behind nothing but a tiny flag and a handwritten note taped to its hull. Good luck. We're busy. The alien commanders stared at the screens. Sensors recalibrated. Weapons recalculated. Every plan they had, years of preparation, crumbled before the audacity of a species that didn't even bother to take them seriously. By the time the fleet realized Earth wasn't panicking, the humans weren't hiding, and the humans didn't care. It was already too late to predict what would happen next. Weeks turned into months, and the alien fleet remained in orbit like predatory sharks waiting for a meal that wouldn't appear. But humans weren't scared. They barely even acknowledged the threat. Cities didn't fall silent. Factories didn't shut down. People went about their lives, except now, every street, every building, and every neighborhood became a chaotic web of improvisation. Cargo drones were reprogrammed to weave through the blockade, carrying supplies, pets, and occasionally harmless fireworks that startled alien sensors. Satellites became decoy projectiles, orbiting in random, impossible patterns that rendered the fleet's targeting algorithms useless. Nuclear power plants weren't just energy sources. They were turned into decoy beacons, with blinking lights that confused alien scanners and made their warships waste precious resources tracking false targets. When the aliens tried diplomacy, they sent booming messages in a dozen languages, threats, ultimatums, even attempts at intimidation through holographic displays of destruction. Humans didn't reply with words. They replied with memes. Entire fleets of alien communications satellites received looping videos of cats, dance challenges, and cooking fails. The aliens couldn't process it. Their translators kept repeating, "This is meaningless." Humans called it Tuesday. Then came the guerrilla improvisation. Fishermen in orbital shuttles redirected space debris into patterns that disrupted laser targeting systems. School students hacked city drones to swarm alien ships with harmless but disorienting light shows. Farmers used orbital satellites to project massive holographic cows across the night sky. Every calculated alien strategy crumbled against humans who didn't just refuse to fight. They actively subverted the war in the most absurd ways imaginable. For the aliens, this defiance was maddening. Every tactical advantage they had, technology, firepower, coordination, was meaningless against a species that simply didn't care about rules, hierarchy, or fear. They weren't surrendering. They weren't negotiating. They were being humans. By now, the alien commanders were on edge. Every maneuver ended in confusion. Every calculated strike turned into chaos. And through it all, humanity kept going, building, laughing, arguing over sports, posting on social media, while the galaxy's most powerful fleet had no idea what to do. Humans weren't just surviving, they were winning by refusing to play by anyone else's rules. Months of absurd chaos had done something the aliens never expected. It unnerved them. Ships drifted in orbit, crews muttered nervously, and commanders scratched their heads over the endless unpredictability. Every plan had failed. Every weapon misfired. And then a human ship appeared, alone, unarmed, and utterly casual. It was a small freighter, barely noticeable among the massive alien warships. The pilot floated inside, headphones on, sipping coffee, waving a tiny flag that read, "Need directions?" Alien sensors screamed warnings, but nothing happened. No attack. No surrender. Just human calm in the middle of a battlefield. The humans didn't fight, they distracted. With one button, the freighter hijacked the alien fleet's communication network. Suddenly, every channel blasted Earth pop music, cat videos, and, most dangerously, stand-up comedy. Alien soldiers watched in confusion as their weapons systems began auto-targeting malfunctioning holograms. Their superior firepower became useless against humans who weaponized pure absurdity. Meanwhile, orbital drones deployed by humans weren't shooting lasers. they were releasing clouds of reflective particles. Sunlight bounced off them in dazzling patterns, blinding sensors and making every alien radar read. Threat everywhere, but nothing real. Every tactical strike failed. Every maneuver turned into a circus. Commanders tried to rally their crews, but it was too late. The humans weren't just fighting, they were redefining what it meant to exist in the galaxy on their own terms. They weren't afraid. They weren't cautious. They weren't predictable. They didn't care about consequences. Finally, the alien flagship attempted a direct confrontation. But as their largest warship approached Earth, it found its systems overloaded by chaos, sensor glitches, navigation errors, and random holographic cows spinning in orbit. The freighter pilot waved once more, sipped coffee, and whispered to the comms. "Seriously, guys, chill." By the time the aliens realized what had happened, their fleet was in disarray. Ships were retreating. Systems were fried. Morale had collapsed. Humans hadn't won through force. They had won through indifference, audacity, and a complete refusal to play by the rules. The galaxy had learned a terrifying truth. A species that doesn't care cannot be controlled. The alien fleet limped away, battered not by weapons, but by confusion, chaos, and a species that simply refused to take them seriously. Their commanders were speechless. Analysts scratched their heads. War councils convened, and concluded that Earth was impossible. Back on the planet, humans didn't celebrate. Cities weren't lit up with victory parades. Factories didn't shut down. Kids still argued over which show was better. Scientists still debated whether pineapple belonged on pizza. Humanity had survived the galaxy's most powerful military without firing a shot, and went right back to living as if nothing had happened. Orbital satellites captured alien ships retreating in disarray. Some were barely functional, some were stuck in orbit loops they couldn't escape. The galaxy whispered rumors of the humans who didn't care, the species that laughed in the face of annihilation. Other civilizations studied Earth's broadcasts, trying to decode the human strategy, but there was none. Humans didn't strategize. They improvised, they ignored, they lived. When alien scouts finally returned months later, they found the planet unchanged. Humans were still fishing, still building, still dancing in living rooms. A lone freighter drifted past the alien sensors, pilot waving from the cockpit, sipping coffee as if to say, "Did you miss us?" The galaxy had learned a universal truth the hard way. When humans don't give a *K, nothing, not firepower, not strategy, not diplomacy, can touch them. They were unpredictable, unstoppable, and utterly indifferent. And that was humanity's greatest weapon. Earth went on, calm, chaotic, and unbothered. The aliens never returned. And humans didn't care that they hadn't.